Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. So for some very interesting news, a record-breaking World Cup, France 2023. That's what it is in terms of the number of fans and record TV and fan attendance numbers that have been recorded already in the pool stages, which is exactly what is needed, really. You know, it's been an interesting few years for rugby union. A lot of people talking about the fact that we could be on the decline, that people are not watching rugby union as much, and that rugby is in a bad space. But in a bit of a positive note, or a bit more of a positive note, this year we have seen record attendance so far in the World Cup, which is very cool. As we enter the end of the pool stages, we've had 5 weeks of absolutely scintillating rugby. We've seen some iconic games, the likes of the South Africa versus Ireland, that France versus New Zealand game, and then obviously one of the most iconic games of the World Cup, that Portugal win over Fiji. The first ever win for Portugal at a World Cup, an absolutely phenomenal moment for them. And hopefully we'll see a lot more moments like that in the years to come. But in terms of this World Cup, in terms of what records have been broken, so far we have already seen 1.16 million people visiting the 10 official Rugby World Cup fan villages across France. We've been to quite a few of them. We've been to the one in Paris, in Marseille, in Lyon, in Bordeaux. So we've been to quite a few of them. Very, very cool. And that has surpassed the 1.13 million people that visited the same villages in Japan 4 years ago, and that is before the playoffs. So yeah, that number really set to skyrocket. In terms of the match attendance, they've reached 1.8 million people so far have attended matches across the group stages. That has surpassed the record of 1.7 million total for Japan. Now, obviously, there are a few more games this year. It is an expanded World Cup, so you do tend to expect a few more, obviously a lot more attendance there because there are more games. But the good news is the fact they've already sort of surpassed that amount, and yet we've still got 6 more games to go. 8 more games to go, which is obviously going to be pretty full as well. So you expect to sort of see those figures really start to rise. In terms of some of the broadcast numbers, it's been quite interesting. Apparently, there's been a cumulative audience of more than 16.45 million people that have tuned into matches involving the host nation. The matches involving the host nation are the most viewed, but those are some of the numbers that we've seen so far from a broadcasting perspective. So it's good news at the end of the day. We wondered where rugby is, and I can tell you right now on the ground here that the rugby fever is a real thing. Whether we need to doubt what rugby is like globally, tournaments like this, we've seen it. We've seen the hype, we've seen the love the fans have for the game. And what for me has been so refreshing is seeing the different sort of nations, how passionate the Chile fans have been that we've seen so far, the Portuguese fans, for example. So those tier 2 nations, those supporters who have saved for years, for this once in a lifetime opportunity to come to the World Cup and see what it's all about. And to see the passion there, for me, hopefully really kicks World Rugby into gear with regards to supporting tier 2 nations. This needs to become a global game. This needs to become a sport that reaches far more nations than the 20 that have been here over the past few weeks and the 8 that will continue. We need to have, bigger World Cups. We need to have bigger, support bases. This needs to become a global game. The demand is there. The new teams that are here absolutely loved having them. They've produced some really cool moments. The fans have absolutely loved it. The question is, how do we continue to grow that? How do we add those sort of numbers? And how do we make sure the next World Cup becomes another record-breaking World Cup? Let me know what you think of the numbers and of what you think of the tournament so far down in the comments below. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you guys soon.